What if we told you that the modern world, the one of mathematics, medicine, and complex tools, was built on a foundation laid thousands of years ago in Africa? For too long, the contributions of ancient African civilizations have been relegated to the sidelines of history. But the truth is, Africa is the birthplace of human innovation, a cradle of genius where some of the most groundbreaking ideas were first conceived. From the world's first calendar to the very concept of surgery, the technologies we take for granted today have roots in a continent whose brilliance has been hiding in plain sight. Get ready to have your mind opened, because this is a deep dive into the top African inventions you still use today. Before we dive in, if you enjoy this, please hit that like button to help more people see it. 1. The dawn of mathematics. Before the Greeks, before the Romans, before the great empires of the East, there was a quiet revolution happening in Africa. The oldest mathematical artifact in the world is not from Mesopotamia or the Indus Valley. It's the Lebombo bone, a small notched fibula of a baboon found in a cave in Eswatini, formerly Swaziland. It dates back over 40,000 years and has 29 distinct notches, leading many to believe it was a lunar calendar, potentially used by women to track their menstrual cycles. This makes African women the world's first mathematicians. But that was just the beginning. The Ishango bone, discovered in the Democratic Republic of Congo, is even more complex. It's a 20,000-year-old tool with a series of carved notches organized into sophisticated patterns. Scholars have debated its purpose for years, but the most popular theory is that it represents an advanced understanding of prime numbers and a base 10 number system. It is, in essence, the world's first slide rule. It proves that early humans in Africa were not just surviving. They were thinking, observing, and creating the foundational concepts of modern science. The Ishango bone is a silent testament to a genius that humanity still uses every time we count, add, or multiply. 2. The art of healing and the birth of surgery. When we think of modern medicine, we picture sterile operating rooms and advanced technology. But the very first surgical tools were forged in Africa, and the first recorded medical procedures were practiced there. Archaeological evidence suggests that over 5,000 years ago, ancient Egyptians were performing complex surgeries with a surprising understanding of anatomy. The Edwin Smith Papyrus, an ancient Egyptian medical text, details procedures for treating head wounds and spinal injuries, showing a sophisticated knowledge of the relationship between the brain and the rest of the body. They used advanced tools, including scalpels, bone saws, and forceps, and understood how to use sutures and cauterization to stop bleeding. Beyond ancient Egypt, other African civilizations made equally stunning medical advances. For example, ancient Ethiopians used a sophisticated method of stitching wounds with a material derived from a plant, and they had an understanding of a variety of herbs and natural compounds to treat infections. 3. From fire to fortune, the mastery of metal. For centuries, it was believed that the Iron Age began in the Middle East and spread to Africa. But archaeological evidence has rewritten that history. It is now widely accepted that sub-Saharan Africa, particularly in what is now modern-day Tanzania and Nigeria, developed the technology for iron smelting and forging independently, and far earlier than previously thought, as early as 1500 BCE. This was a monumental leap for human civilization. Ancient African metallurgists built sophisticated furnaces, some of which could reach temperatures of 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit, far hotter than anything developed in Europe at the time. They discovered how to create high-carbon steel, a technology that would not appear in Europe for another 2,000 years. Their knowledge was not just about making tools, it was a form of alchemical artistry. This mastery of metal led to the creation of advanced agricultural tools, powerful weapons, and stunning works of art. The famous brass sculptures of the Benin Kingdom and the iron tools of the Dogon people are testaments to a craftsmanship that was both a science and a sacred tradition. 4. The original engineers. When we think of great engineering feats, we often think of the pyramids of Giza. But the pyramids were just one of many spectacular examples of African architectural genius. On the border of Zimbabwe, the city of Great Zimbabwe stands as a testament to incredible stonework. The city's massive, dry stone walls were built without mortar, with stones so perfectly cut and stacked they have remained standing for centuries. The main structure, the Great Enclosure, has walls over 30 feet high and 16 feet thick. This was a city built on an unparalleled understanding of engineering and masonry. In northern Ethiopia, the city of Lalibela is home to a series of 11 medieval rock-hewn churches. But these churches were not built. They were carved out of the ground. The builders first excavated a large trench in the bedrock and then painstakingly carved the churches, complete with intricate facades, windows, and doors from a single piece of stone. The most famous, the Church of St. George, is shaped like a cross and is a perfect replica of a traditional church, all carved from a single massive piece of rock. It's an act of faith and engineering so breathtaking it still baffles modern architects. 5. The daily innovations. Beyond the monumental feats of engineering and science, countless everyday inventions that we take for granted today have African origins. Take the simple cup of coffee. The very first coffee beans were discovered in the highlands of Ethiopia. According to legend, a goat herder named Kaldi noticed his goats became energetic after eating the berries from a certain plant. He tried them himself and felt a similar stimulating effect. From there, coffee spread from the monasteries of Ethiopia to the Arabian Peninsula, and eventually across the world. The morning ritual we all rely on today is a gift from Africa. Another overlooked but critical innovation is the world's first calendar. The ancient Egyptians developed a 365-day calendar based on the movements of the sun and the stars, particularly the heliacal rising of the star Sirius. Their calendar was so accurate that it was the basis for the Roman and eventually the Gregorian calendar we use today. 6. University education, Timbuktu. In the 12th century, Timbuktu in Mali rose as one of the greatest centers of learning on earth. The University of Sankore housed libraries filled with manuscripts on medicine, astronomy, law, and philosophy. At its peak, it drew scholars from across Africa, the Middle East, and even Europe. This was structured higher education centuries before the Renaissance. Today's universities echo the model pioneered in Timbuktu, where knowledge was prized as much as gold. 7. Glassmaking and faience. Long before modern glass factories, Egyptians invented faience, a brilliant blue-green glazed material made from ground quartz. They crafted beads, jewelry, and amulets that gleamed like gemstones. This was an early form of glassmaking, spreading into the Mediterranean and beyond. The technology behind your windows, glasses, and screens has its roots in Africa's shimmering faience. 8. Shipbuilding and navigation. As early as 3000 BCE, Egyptians were building large wooden ships with sails capable of crossing the Nile, the Red Sea, and the Mediterranean. Some evidence even suggests African sailors reached the Americas centuries before Columbus. They navigated by the stars, pioneering techniques that shaped global trade and exploration. The modern world of travel and shipping owes much to Africa's mastery of the seas. 9. Metallurgy and goldsmithing. West Africa's empires, Ghana, Mali, and Songhai, thrived on advanced metalworking and gold refining. Blacksmiths created tools, weapons, and intricate jewelry long before Europe industrialized. Gold from West Africa fueled economies as far as Europe and the Middle East, and the craft of metallurgy continues to underpin modern industry today. 10. Water clocks and irrigation. In Egypt, the clepsydra, or water clock, was one of the earliest devices for measuring time. Alongside this, Africans developed advanced irrigation systems, channeling Nile floods into fertile farmland. These innovations allowed civilizations to track time and feed their populations, technologies that remain essential to our modern world. From the simple tool to the monumental structure, African innovators were pioneers in every field. Their contributions, though often forgotten, are woven into the very fabric of our modern world. From the mathematical genius of the Lebombo bone to the unparalleled engineering of Great Zimbabwe, Africa's role in the story of human innovation is undeniable. These weren't just isolated events. They were a continuous thread of discovery and creativity that has shaped our world in countless ways. As you go about your day, remember that the coffee in your cup, the precision of your calendar, and the very concept of surgery are all echoes of a brilliant past that began on this continent. So which of these incredible inventions surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. And for more deep dives into the secrets of our world, make sure to like and subscribe. Keep exploring and never stop being curious about the forgotten stories of humanity.